Kenny, it's been a few weeks since we had a chance to talk. The Pirates' last games were the trip to California. Uh, Talk about those games that you played down there and getting a win over Caltech in a hard-fought game against Whittier.
Yeah, it was the completion of a busy little stretch, and even a couple days before that trip, we had Walla Walla here too. So, having 3 games in 4.5, 5 days, but it was really solid. Just playing a Caltech team that was a little bit banged up, so it was something for us where we knew we just had to kind of take care of business and just really focus on us and kind of translating that over to the Whittier game where we knew a team that played quite a bit of zone. We hadn't seen a lot of zone. And we know we valued just getting shots instead of turning the ball over. Unfortunately, we just put them on the line too much. That's kind of been our Achilles heel to this point. And the 2 losses we've had, it's been something where our struggles have came from people getting too many offensive rebounds, as well as just a little bit of lack of game plan, discipline, and execution, and just fouling a little bit too much. Because even though you look at a loss that's 10 points, that's really 2 or 3 plays when you kind of boil everything down.
You've had 3 weeks since your last game. When you have that during the season, is that an opportunity to kind of go back into a preseason mode and work on some basics rather than having to worry about game planning for any particular opponent?
Yeah, going into the year, we kind of looked at it as almost kind of three seasons, so to say. We had that extended break, give players a little bit of time to go home over Thanksgiving, and then essentially just a little bit over 2 weeks of kind of practice and prep time, work on ourselves, last week or so, and then those weeks kind of ramp up into, our game on Friday, as well as looking ahead a little bit to some things that we'll need to be prepared for on the California trip again.
You talked about having 3 games in 5 days that previous, and now you're going to have 4 games in about 6 days coming up. How do you balance rest and prep and practice during a stretch like that?
I think our depth will really show in this upcoming stretch, as well as obviously sometimes it could be a disadvantage having only 12 players, but at the same time everybody's getting reps and developing, and to some extent having game readiness. Obviously we've had a little bit of a break now as far as not games, but everybody's getting 80 to 90% of the repetitions in practice, so everybody should be sharp and hungry, and having that extended bit of rest should help us going into this stretch. So obviously play Friday, quick turnaround, travel again on Sunday, and then 3 games in a short span of time. But everybody's knowing that we have another break on the back end of that. Just give us everything you have. We're going to need all 12 bodies, and then just kind of play like you have nothing else, and then you'll get some time off and just make it a good trip.
For those who are going to be at the game on Friday, what do we know about Mary Hardin Baylor and the challenges they'll present?
They play extremely hard. That's the thing that jumps out on you when you watch film. It's something where they go over to play Whitman the night before us, so it'll be nice to be able to just kind of see who they have available, honestly, just because they had a couple games, and they play somewhere between 10 to 12 players any given night, just because of how hard they play. It's a team that looks to play a good amount of zone depending on if you shoot them out of it or not, and then they're just going to drive a lot. They have a couple players that like to catch and shoot, but kind of essentially I think it'll be a good kind of test for us to see how far we've come to be able to shore up some of those mistakes, because if you're undisciplined and you foul and you don't protect your defensive glass, that they're going to live in the paint. So it's going to be something where obviously you're not playing yourself, but it's the things that we've been trying to shore up in practice. So it'll be a really good chance for us to fix some of those issues in a game environment.